Welcome back to High Stakes, where we help you elevate your betting strategy. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with our daily content. Looking for exclusive access to premium betting picks? Join us on Patreon. Links are available in the comments section below. Stay ahead of the game with High Stakes. The Houston Texans versus Tennessee Titans. What a thrilling matchup to wrap up the regular season. The Texans, sitting at a respectable 9-7, had their pride crushed last week by the Baltimore Ravens in a 31-2 embarrassment. But don't worry, they clinched the AFC South, so now they get to coast into the playoffs like a team who's already moved on mentally. They're totally not thinking about the playoff seeding, and their main priority now is getting over that dreadful loss. So, let's rest our starters, because what's the point of risking injury in a game that doesn't matter at all, right? And then there's Tennessee, at 3-13, with a season so sad it could be a Netflix documentary. They've secured their place in the basement of the AFC South and are now eyeing a top draft pick, probably for a shiny new quarterback, because why not? They've lost 5 straight games, 7 of their last 8, and are on a quest to find joy in a season that has been nothing but a series of unfortunate events. But hey, at least the coach is still feeling the pain. He's definitely not numb to the suffering, as if anyone could be. Their offense ranks near the bottom of the league in every category, but who cares? They'll put up another masterpiece of mediocrity to cap off this dumpster fire of a season. So, what's at stake here? Absolutely nothing. The Texans are locked into the 4th seed, and the Titans are just hoping to avoid being the laughingstock of the league. With both teams likely taking it easy, or, completely phoning it in, expect the underwhelming to continue with a game that could probably be wrapped up in 30 minutes. Davis Mills will likely be running the show for Houston, and while the Titans' defense has been solid, it's hard to get excited about either offense when no one's trying. Prediction: Tennessee Titans minus 1.5 points. Because why wouldn't a team that has barely won all season be favored against a team that doesn't care anymore? Prediction: under 36.5 points. Because why would you expect anything more than a depressing display of ineptitude from these two teams with nothing to play for? Given the total lack of motivation and both teams likely holding back to avoid injury in a game that has no impact on their futures, here are some game prop picks to consider. Total touchdowns, under 3.5. Both teams have nothing on the line here, and the Texans are likely to rest key players, especially after their embarrassing loss to the Ravens. They've already locked up the AFC South, so don't expect them to go all out. As for the Titans, their offense has been dreadful all season, ranking near the bottom in almost every category. With nothing at stake and both offenses struggling, it's highly unlikely that we'll see more than 3 touchdowns in this game. Don't be surprised if both teams settle for field goals instead of reaching the end zone. Total field goals, over 3.5. While touchdowns may be hard to come by, field goals could be the way to go in this low-scoring affair. Neither offense is potent enough to consistently punch the ball into the end zone, especially with the Titans' defense playing solid despite the team's overall struggles. This opens the door for more field goal opportunities. The teams will likely stall in the red zone, and when that happens, it's field goal kickers who are called upon to put points on the board. Expect to see at least 4 field goals in this matchup, as both offenses sputter out. Longest field goal, over 47.5 yards. Given how poorly both offenses have performed, don't expect either team to be marching up and down the field with ease. However, with both teams likely to stall in the red zone and unable to break through with a touchdown, field goals may be their only viable option. A kicker will likely be asked to attempt a long-range shot at some point, as neither team is capable of creating explosive plays. With the ball being kicked from deep positions, a field goal of over 47 yards is a reasonable expectation. Total interceptions, over 1.5. With the pressure low for both teams in a meaningless game, turnovers will still likely be a significant factor. Davis Mills is known for being erratic and prone to mistakes, especially under pressure, which could lead to a couple of picks. On the flip side, Tennessee's quarterbacks are far from being the answer, and their turnover-prone offense is bound to throw an interception or 2. Given the lack of skill in both passing games and the presence of defensive playmakers, it's easy to foresee at least 2 interceptions being thrown. This could be a game where mistakes are made in bulk, and interceptions play a key role. Total sacks, over 3.5. Both teams' offensive lines have had issues all season, and this game isn't going to change that. Houston has been struggling to protect its quarterbacks, and Davis Mills, though not completely disastrous, is prone to pressure and mistakes. The Titans, on the other hand, have their own offensive line issues and have struggled to generate much offense through the air, putting their quarterbacks at risk. Whether it's Mills or a backup quarterback playing, both teams will likely be sacked multiple times. Considering the weak offensive lines and the defense's ability to generate pressure, it wouldn't be surprising to see at least 4 sacks combined in this game. Total passing yards, Davis Mills under 200.5. With the Texans having no reason to push for a big game, and with Davis Mills likely starting the game with limited support from his offense, don't expect him to light up the scoreboard with passing yards. Mills hasn't been consistent all season, and with the Texans likely not pushing for a win, he won't be throwing the ball often or for significant yardage. Expect the Texans to rely more on a conservative approach, especially since their defense is what carried them to the playoffs. Therefore, betting on Mills to stay under 200 yards passing seems like a solid pick. Total rushing yards, Tennessee Titans, any running back over 90.5. If Tennessee has any hope of doing something productive in this game, it will be on the ground. The Titans have one of the worst passing offenses in the NFL, and they're clearly not going to be airing it out in a game that doesn't matter. What better way to close out a dismal season than by relying on your running backs? Even though their offensive line has its own struggles, they'll still likely attempt to establish a ground game, especially against a Houston defense that's allowed its fair share of rushing yards. Given that neither team is expecting fireworks through the air, Tennessee will likely try to grind out some yards on the ground. The Titans' running backs could combine for over 90 rushing yards, making this prop bet a favorable one. Total points by Houston Texans, under 17.5. Houston is already locked into the playoffs, and after an embarrassing performance against the Ravens, they're likely to take a conservative approach in this game. With Davis Mills under center and their top players possibly being rested or playing only a handful of snaps, it's hard to imagine the Texans putting up more than 17 points. Their offense has been hit or miss all season, and with the game not meaning much, it's unlikely they'll hit the 18-point mark. Expect a subdued offensive showing from the Texans, and with their defense and special teams likely playing a bigger role, betting on them to score under 17.5 points seems like a smart move. These game props are all about the reality of the situation. Neither team has anything to gain, and both are likely to coast through the game with as little effort as possible. Expect a sluggish, low-scoring contest with limited explosive plays, and bet accordingly. And that's a wrap on today's video, folks. I'm sure you're absolutely on the edge of your seat, eagerly awaiting the next thrilling installment of this channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because clearly you don't want to miss any of our daily videos. I mean, who could live without them? And while you're at it, smash that notification bell, so you can be the first to know when we drop more gems like this. Oh, and if you're looking for some premium picks, because, let's be honest, who isn't? Join our Patreon. It's where the real magic happens. Premium picks, insider info, and possibly even some mildly entertaining banter. So, hit that link, and we'll see you on the inside. Until next time, enjoy the game, make those bets, and remember, you're welcome.